Hello, hello. This is Orlando, and tonight I'm here by myself for Late Night Right. Kaz isn't going to be able to make it because she's having tech issues, and so we'll go ahead and we'll work on what we can work on without her being here. So, to start off with, I'm going to throw us right into the outline, exactly where we left off last week. And this way, we can get everything all set up and working great. Alrighty. So, as you know, title is complex. It's going to be a thriller and might end up being more than that. We haven't figured that out yet. I did go ahead and mark a few places where we're going to need to do a little bit extra from what we had previously in the early part of the outline. And then we'll continue on into the middle of the whole middle section of the screenplay. Okay, so what we have here is the bad guys are dressed up and in black. They drive up, grab Michael, and haul him into a delivery van. Okay, I added an asterisk here to mark the spot, and what we need to add um, is his truck going to remain in the driveway. Or is someone going to come back later and remove it? And that's the question. Um, it could also be that one of the guys grabs the keys off of him in the van and they remove it immediately. Alrighty. And this is basically where we get into the middle part of the actual movie is here, where we're actually starting into it. Alrighty. So we have our four players here. Um, and that's where they find out that something's wrong. The people aren't where they're supposed to be. They can't find Michael, this kind of stuff. And in here, we'll have Michael's phone sits on a bare table. It rings or vibrates. So we need to see who is also at that table. Plus, I would like to add a scene where we're going to see what Michael is doing. Yep. And here I'm guessing, and of course I'll be running all of this stuff past Kaz anyway. Once we get into later in the week when she can get some proper Wi-Fi. I'm guessing he will be doing tech work, and but I'm thinking he's also secretly building himself either a device or a backdoor or hidden what would you call it? Hidden link? To get news, maybe to start with, and of course, he'll be looking for specific. Okay. Now we have the guys all getting ready and figuring out what they're going to do, what they need to pack. And for packing, I think we're going to have to add things like food. We'll have to play with the time of the year. I'm assuming it's going to be summertime. So, hats. They're going to need, let's see, hats. Mosquito repellent, sunscreen. Of course, they're going to have sleeping bags or something of that sort. Pop-up tent. What else are we going to need? Obviously, changes of clothes, but that's kind of a given. I don't know if we want to show them fishing somewhere along the line to get supper. I'm guessing fishing line. I don't know. Do they need a guide for wild foods? Anything's possible, I guess. We'll see how it plays out. All right, that should do a bit for that one. And there we go. All right. Okay, here we're gonna dive into more scenes that end up having Michael in it because we have to weave in and add them in between, whether it's of Michael or what's actually happening where Michael is or within the town. So we could have here Michael further building his network. And we'll just, use that as an example. Tanya will have to be making excuses. Why no one has seen her guides, which will work out pretty cool. And where else are we going to have it? All right. For the guards here, that'll be a good one. That's going to be interesting to see who is who and who knows who. That might be an easier way of finding out um, whether or not someone deliberately did not, like, maybe saw them but pretended they didn't. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we'll do that because that might be one of the more interesting ways of building out more interstory inside. So what we do here next would be perhaps this person is is going to visit Tanya. Now, does he have ulterior motives? Okay, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be a he. It could be a he or a she. And so, of course, is there a conflict here? Or does Tanya think this person is fishing for information? Because that is always a possibility as well. Okay. And by then, and we can start to show some wear and tear. Oops. It's Sean with a W. Okay. Yeah, ripped jacket or jeans, something along that lines, Alrighty. So now they find a system here. Okay. This is dialogue. That's dialogue. That's dialogue. Alrighty. And then we get to where they're actually on the hydraulic plate. And Sean is thinking and hoping he knows where this is. But he doesn't want to be, you know, he doesn't want to be 100%, I'd say, with his boys. In other words, he don't get the hopes up just in case it's not, you know, who they think it's going to be. Alrighty. But of course, he's gonna be sitting there with you know, almost tears going and not and trying to hide it from the boys. All right. And of course, so what did they find? Um, First things first, I think what they'll be finding is a big open space. And I mean big open space as in big enough for a car. How about just vehicle? It'll be kind of like a I would say like going into a parking garage. You have your space. You're gonna have room to pull in or pull forward, forward or back, and off the actual grate, and like a yeah. But there's got to be room for moving around. That grate's got to be able to go back up again. So there's got to be plenty of room around it so that nothing gets caught on it. Because unlike some that actually are out there, this one is going to not be able to turn. This is going to be a square, simple square grate. Alrighty. Okay, so what are they here? I think the main thing is going to be power. Like physical, something is running. Yeah, it could be heater. Machinery. Could be power tools. That also might be music or a movie. And could also be accompanied by the smell of cooking. I'm assuming there's going to be some dust around the place. I mean, we're not talking about something spotless, right? But I'm playing with the idea to have one of them has passed away. And we're gonna see the I don't know, I guess a body bag. Yeah. In a bag or a coffin. And of course, that'll be somewhere where it's in a cool area. Now, that's just a possibility. Haven't decided on that yet. Alrighty. Okay, so now that we know that there is ambient underground energy and there is electricity, so what they're going to see obviously is lights. Um, Maybe further down. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. This part would all be cement. And then the construction. All right. That's good. That'll work. That'll work. And some of that construction is in process. Yeah. Which would make it sense. It would make sense to hear power tools. Okay. So what we're going to find in here. All right. The greenhouse stuff we already went through higher up. So I guess they can go past a few other rooms, like drawing room. I guess everything could have glass doors. Because, I mean, who else is going to be in there? It's just two people, right? So they can see. Okay, so there'll be a room they're going to pass for food storage. And of course, that'll be a pantry. And having a complete. Well, I guess, yeah. A pantry will do it because that'll have everything from dry to things that are canned. It'll be temperature controlled. Alrighty. There will have to be a cistern. Hydroponics for fish and plants, plus a grow room. All right. Okay, and all that stuff leads to what's in the greenhouse and how everything works in there. Yeah, because you'll have the cistern upstairs up in the greenhouse, which is separate from the downstairs cistern, which will be the drinking water. And then that fish water, as new water is put in from the cistern, the fish water goes up into the upper cistern to add fertilizer. Yeah, that'll work. All right, then there's okay, it's all happiness and laughter when they find the parent or parents, as it is. And here is where we're going to have to set up. And hey, perhaps they find the mum in the computer room. Nah. No, that postman's gonna have to come after. Because they don't know yet that they're able to get in touch with Michael to a degree. They know that, you know, he'll be able to find them and find the posts, but that's between Michael and his parents. Sean and the boys don't know any of this yet. So now, I guess what we'll have to do is this is where the stories start coming in on Sean and them letting the parents know that Michael has disappeared and nobody knows where they are. Over a fresh cooked meal. Oh, wow. Why did that do that? Huh. Went to a completely different print. Crazy. Of course, my cursor isn't going to work again. This is very weird. So, after the meal is when the post happens. This one right here. And then, of course, we're going to have to see Michael's reaction because he gets caught. Okay, so he'd be held into the office as such. Because depending where they are, I don't know if it's going to be much of an office, but, you know, in front of the head people. And explain himself. So they weren't able to actually catch his the original system that he had built. They weren't able to pick up that notification, but they were able to pick up the fact that he had gone to that site, obviously through part of their system, so that they could track. Alrighty. And then I added in here that we need to have a blueprint of what Michael's working on, or basically where he is. And then we're going to have also make have a blueprint of the complex. Now, going from this blueprint to this blueprint would be a transition between the two different places. So once you see the blueprint of the complex, then we'll see that laid out on a table, or now the parents are showing Sean and the boys around. Okay. And then here we'll come back to Michael here. And we'll see him build in these hidden loopholes for low frequencies on the actual hardware that he's working on at the moment, so that he doesn't get caught again. And of course, very well hidden in plain sight. Okay, well this one has to do with the greenhouse. All right. Now we come to the ending here of where we had been before. So now we have to start building in all new stuff here. So we're going to have to I don't know. This is where it gets a little bit dicey about which way we want to take it. Like, do they just want to be shown? Do we just show them around? Um, do they help with something? Does mending and washing clothes? Plans. On how to find Michael. Now, part of that might, I don't know if they have possibility of being able to track pings coming back and forth from in within this particular system. Hmm, we'll get that figured out. That's for sure. Alrighty. So maybe what we're doing is, here's a possibility. Is the youngest going to be left? Okay, so is the youngest to be left with the parents to help them, but more so that the two older ones can move faster? And to keep the youngest out of the hands of the bad guys. And this would be that had cut their grass and helped them out with stuff before. So this could be something. This could be definitely worth it. We just have to figure out how to lay it out and yeah, I tried it. Okay. To turn it so that the younger sons, they, yeah, turn it so it's the younger son's idea to stay. That'll work. And let's have he's fascinated with everything he's seeing and how does it work. This is good. This'll do nicely. This'll do nicely. So then what we have to do is we have to prep. We have to prep John and Matthew for extended trek. Because as of right now, they don't know exactly where Michael is yet. Alrighty. How about if we up here? How about not there, a little bit farther. This is what I want. Okay, let's see. Let's see if they're able to partially triangulate where prior answers from Michael had come from. And this will have to do with the server area. He hits from. And then they'll decide. Okay, so they have an idea. Let's see. Okay, so now they have to figure out how. So what they're going to be doing, obviously, is bringing up maps. And I'm thinking more like an actual physical street map so they can see what is where. And let's see. I wonder if, if you're not solidly hooked up into an internet, would you be able to search up things that are underneath? Let's have Sean do a little bit of extra work. So we'll have them able to find sewer systems. What else? Places with no electricity, which could be a possible. Do it this way. Where Michael is. That could be interesting, because it all depends on how they're going to run it and where it is that they are to start with. I mean, is there an underground garage? Huh. That might have an exit. To the building they need to get into. Alright, is there tech? that needs to be disabled. Um, and working fire systems that could be set off and used to distract. Huh, this could be fun. This could be really fun. Now that we're getting into the center of it, all of this kind of stuff is, yeah, it's starting to get into the nitty gritty. So, needless to say, I'm having some fun with this. Now, what else can we use? What else can we use? Okay, is Michael going to be aware that they're there? This is going to be interesting, and perhaps Sean gets in touch. Mm. Either on the network directly, or a message straight to the parents. So they can couch the information that they know Michael will understand. Huh, this could be very interesting. This could be good. This could be very good. Alright. So, up here. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm thinking in my head that they're already there. Where Michael is. And they're not yet. That's the point. So basically, okay, Sean's going to give the parents the keywords. So Michael will understand that they're on the way to get him out. And or to sabotage. The bad guys. That'll be the part. That'll be the one. Right there. We don't need that one. Don't need that one. This is, So this could actually set Michael into motion. With what he's building. And maybe some deflected, innocent. Digging for information. Through different. Okay, but are the bad guys going to start getting suspicious? Because I'm guessing all of this information is going to make Michael either work harder smarter or just simply have him seem like he's in a better mood. You know, lighter on a mission. Here's an idea. Have the bad guys promised him his freedom if he builds this for them. That's a question we're going to have to figure out and see what it is that where we can run with that one. Because that can make a huge difference. Because if that's the case, the bad guys may start to think that Michael is near completion. Of their project. And does this put Michael's life in danger? That's going to be an even bigger question, because that's going to end up that's going to put us on a ticking time clock. Right there. Or time bomb, depending on how you want to lay it out. because there's always that possibility too that what he's building in separately with his own networking and how he's laying things out and what he's actually physically building into their computer setup, is it possible to take down their network completely? Is that the plan? Like the country's internet or just the bad guys network. Now those could be fun. Those could be really, really fun to deal with and figure out how it's going to be done, number one, and what effect it's going to have. But a lot of that's going to depend on what kind of bad guy we're actually going to have. And that will tell us the difference between what is the actual issue here, and once you know who the bad guys are, it lets you fine tune everything. Because then now you can start pulling all of this stuff through the eyes of that particular type of people. Or that particular type of organization and how they would normally do their things. And I'm assuming in most cases, a lot of them are going to be pretty creative. So there's that too. And those are people and things and traps that we're going to have to lay out and set into here just to find out, how devious the people are and find out what their real intent is. But that's going to have to wait until next week. And hopefully Kaz will be back with us. And you never know. Hey, in between, we may end up having extra guests on too. So if we do have to pause the outlining for a little while because we have a guest in, well then that's what we're going to have to do, and I'm sure you won't mind that at all. That way you can learn from others that are either writing or acting or whatever we are able to bring in. But so far so good. I think this story is building up pretty darn fast. And, because now we've got a whole 5 pages now, like literally almost right to the bottom. So we're cutting this in really good now. But as you can see, and just from what we set up tonight, there are still plenty of questions that need to be answered. So we're not going to start writing any of the script until those questions are answered. We need that first, because then we can lay it out. We'll know how many scenes we need. We'll know how deep they have to go, how many characters we're going to have, and we'll have it specific locations for everything that's happening on the Michael side. That's what we'll be doing. And you never know. Kaz and I have written a script where we literally wrote up everything for one group of people, and we did another one for a different group of people, and then we weaved them together after the fact, in the time zone where they needed to be. That way, and it worked out it worked out pretty darn good. We were pretty happy with that. It just slid in there exactly where we needed them to go. And maybe we'll try doing that with this one as well, because that'll make it that much more fun for us. That's for certain. But anyway, so I'm gonna save that there because we sure as heck don't want to lose it. And here, stop sharing that there. So I'm the only one left. Alrighty. I think that's it for everything. And we will have lots of fun next week. Bye bye.